I want to go back to some other names, because this is fun for me. Mr. Sinatra?
Well, Frank is wonderful. He really is. In fact, I was over his house the other day, and he did a wonderful thing. I said something that wasn't funny, and he slapped my wife. But it relaxed us all. But no, he's a great... I always give him the gangster image, you know. Right. He always says, stop already with the gang, which is not so. But I go back with him so many years. It started in Florida. And it's the old story with Frank Sinatra. He came into a place called Murray Franklin's at that time, which was a little tiny nightclub. And he came in, and he brought a lot of people, in those days, Peggy Lee and what have you, and then he saw me out here in California. But the idea was, when Sinatra laughed, if he went, ha, 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 all the people went with him. It's funny. So whenever Frank laughed, they laughed.
Right.
But he was very influential in bringing people to see me.
Right.
And he's been a great friend, he and his wife Barbara, to my wife and I. He really is. And whenever whenever he's over my house, we play Sinatra records, and it starts to get on my nerves, but I keep playing it, because, otherwise I don't start my car.
And Bob Newhart?
Yeah. Anyway, Bob Newhart.
The white lady wrote it. I didn't know. I don't know you from...
Bob Newhart. Now, he's a fun guy. He's the type of guy that when we go on trips, I watch flies die on his face. He doesn't like that. He always says, why do you always put me down? And I don't. I love the guy dearly. Yeah. And it's interesting, because we're two guys that came from two different societies. He's from Chicago, very educated guy. I came from the street. I had trouble with, listening to the bell when it came to go to a different class.
Right.
But he is a very bright man, and we became friends. And I always say, and I say it on the stage, the wives, wives get along, and his wife Jen and my wife Barbara are very close. And that made Bob and I become great friends. Yeah. But we both had the same values, And he's very successful, as you know. Now he has a third television show, which does bother me. I'm not jealous, but I do drive by his house and throw a rock once in a while, But his career is going great, and we do travel together and get along great.
Yeah. Now, do you ever think about the influence that you've had on the younger folks? Are you surprised when you come to something like Comic Relief and everyone is just like...
Well, I really, speaking of that, Whoopi, I was delighted that I was there with you and Billy and Robin. I really was. And I noticed everybody called me sir, so I started to sit down in the chair and spit up so they'd come and bring medication for me or something. But everybody looked at me and said, my father's uncle's cousin, who is now 89, saw you. Thinks you're a riot. And I look over, and there's a guy in a chair in a green room going, hey, hey, hey. And he's one of my best fans. Hey, hey. I do great old men. Hey, hey. Anyway, so I have all these people, these youngsters that were like talking to me, as you said, a little bit in awe. Mm-hmm. And I find that very flattering, because I do believe in my heart that I'm one of a kind. I mean, I don't know of anybody in this industry that lasted or has gone as far as I have doing what I do.
Yeah.
And I think that's the secret for all of us.
Did you ever get those days out? Sid Caesar wrote this great book. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that stuck in my head, because it hadn't been something I thought about really, but did it ever gnaw at you that one day you'd wake up and maybe you somehow wouldn't be able to do what you do? Did that ever float around in your head?
Not that. I've woken up many a day and said, I don't have a job. I've thought a lot of times, gee, I'll wake up and tomorrow there'll be no job there. Yeah. And especially as you get up there in a few years, you say, oh, gee, will they still want me? Will they still like me? Right. I never feel that I'll lose it on the stage. I always feel when I get out there, it's so funny. So how many times we sat in the dressing room and I felt like, oh, the worst. And I said, I'm going to do the worst show in the world. And I come out and I think I'm a riot. Yeah. And it turns out the audience responds great. And there are nights that I'm way up, I'm really feeling and I go out there and it's a little bit tougher. But I find that I never feel that I'm losing it. I always am concerned about, will it go on forever, or will it go on when I can walk away? Mm. Right now, we have a big home. In fact, one of our servants died walking to the main gate. And so we have a tremendous home. Just take your time. This will run into Tuesday.
Yeah. I have to segue. This is called the segue.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. When you talk about different ethnic groups. I want to throw this, and again, this comes from the... If I say to you, there's a white lady with a 44-inch bust and no butt, what springs to mind?
She needs an operation.
There's an Italian black man in the middle of the audience with a huge mustache sitting with a small poodle.
I think the mob would kill him.
That's pretty good, Don.
Well, hey, you don't find black guys in the mafia, no. You find them bringing sandwiches to the mafia.
Why is that?
Well, because a black guy can't handle it. He wants to do the robbery, 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean?
Right.
Italian guys plan it out.
Right.
Black guy right in front of the cop goes, "Watch this, mother." Bang! You know,
Right.
Italian guy goes, "Carmine, Tuesday night in back of the house." There's a difference. That's why the blacks don't get a chance. That's why they're all singers. I mean, I get nervous when I get on an airplane and I see a black pilot sitting in the cockpit going, switch on, switch off, switch on, you know. And then you run down the runway and you don't take off. You're just running down the runway, you know. So black people do have problems, but we all do. Jewish people don't have problems because when we have a problem, we have cash.
So there is some line to being Jewish.
You got to believe in what you are and say, hey, God said, I'm the guy, you're a Jew, and be happy with it. And I'm certainly happy with it, you know. And now after that, I would like a donation.
In order to get that donation, I've got to talk about this next product coming up. We'll be right back.
Do whatever you want.
I gotta. I want to talk a little bit about Innocent Blood, which is the movie you just finished. What is that?
Well, it stars this Anne Parriot from La Femme Nikita. She's a beautiful actress, a French actress, her first American film. Robert Loggia, who's just a brilliant artist, he really is. Very serious guy. We had a lot of fun. I made him laugh, so that was an accomplishment. And Anthony LaPaglia, who I think will be the new Mel Gibson. He's a very talented guy. And yours truly. And I play a sleazy lawyer for the mob in this picture. And Landis made sure that I didn't play it for comedy. I played it as honest as I could to make it come out funny. Because, you know, when we're comics on the screen, sometimes there's a tendency to go back to your nightclub kind of thing. And it's nothing like that. And I'm very happy about it. And I haven't done a film in some time, so I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we'll do more. But I think it's a fun picture. It's, you know, it's vampires and all that stuff, you know, and some people will find it very entertaining. Other people will find it entertaining but kind of weird. And it's getting away from reality. That's pretty much what it is. I mean, it's not Prince of Tides. For whatever that means, you know, because Prince of Tides is very serious.
It's very serious.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you came. I love the fact that you've been around 30 years. May I say that I hope that in 30 years that we meet in another space on somebody else's show.
Yeah. And just to let you know, with all the years I've known you, but not known you really on a one-on-one level, and I must say you're a delightful lady and a big talent, and I think you deserve things because I hear so much good you do for other people. And that's delightful. You don't hear about that too often, and you don't walk around with a flag telling everybody you do it. But bless your heart, and may God be good to you and yours.
Thanks. And yours too. Good night.